First contact and misunderstanding. The vastness of space stretched before Captain Sarah Chen as she guided the Earth exploration vessel Horizon through the uncharted regions of the Andromeda Galaxy. It was humanity's first venture this far from the Milky Way, a testament to their rapidly advancing technology and insatiable curiosity. "Captain, we're picking up an anomalous energy signature," reported Lieutenant Raj Patel, his dark eyes fixed on the sensor readouts. "It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Sarah leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Can you pinpoint its location?" Raj's fingers danced across the holographic interface. "Yes, ma'am. It's emanating from a small planetoid about 500,000 kilometers to our starboard." "Helm, set a course," Sarah ordered. "Let's see what we've stumbled upon." As the Horizon approached the planetoid, the crew's excitement was palpable. First contact with an alien civilization had long been humanity's dream, and now they stood on the precipice of that possibility. The planetoid came into view, a craggy, lifeless rock at first glance, but as they drew closer, they saw it, a massive structure, clearly artificial, jutting out from the planetoid's surface like a colossal antenna. "My God," whispered Dr. Elena Volkov, the ship's xenobiologist. "It's beautiful." Sarah nodded in agreement. The structure was an intricate lattice of shimmering metal and pulsing energy, unlike anything human eyes had ever beheld. "Prep a landing party," Sarah commanded. "We're going down there." Hours later, Sarah led a team of 6 onto the planetoid's surface. Their environmental suits protected them from the harsh vacuum as they approached the alien structure. As they drew near, a section of the lattice began to shift and reconfigure, forming what appeared to be an entrance. "It's reacting to our presence," Elena observed, her voice filled with wonder. Sarah took a deep breath. "Let's go in. Stay alert, everyone." They entered the structure, finding themselves in a vast chamber filled with incomprehensible technology. Holographic displays flickered to life around them, showing star charts and complex equations. "This looks like some kind of beacon," Raj said, studying one of the displays. "Or maybe a library." As the team explored, Sarah noticed a particular symbol recurring throughout the chamber. It resembled a DNA double helix, but with additional strands intertwined. "Dr. Volkov, what do you make of this?" Sarah asked, pointing to the symbol. Elena approached, her eyes widening. "It's fascinating. It almost looks like a representation of advanced genetics, far beyond anything we're capable of." Suddenly, the chamber came alive with energy. The holographic displays began cycling rapidly, and a deep, resonant hum filled the air. "Captain, I think we've activated something," Raj shouted over the noise. Before Sarah could respond, a brilliant beam of energy shot from the top of the structure, piercing the void of space. "Back to the ship now," Sarah ordered, her instincts screaming that they'd stumbled into something far bigger than they'd anticipated. As they raced back to the Horizon, Sarah's mind raced. What had they done? What was this place? And more importantly, who would answer that energy beam? Little did they know, across the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, multiple alien civilizations had just received a message they'd been dreading for millennia. Humans had arrived. On the planet Zorax, home to one of the galaxy's most feared mercenary guilds, Grulthak, the Supreme Commander stared at the holographic message with a mix of disbelief and growing dread. "Impossible," he growled, his 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession. The quarantine was supposed to hold for at least another 1,000 cycles. His second-in-command, Vexlor, chittered nervously. "Supreme Commander, what are your orders?" "The beacon clearly shows human genetic markers. They've activated a precursor archive." Grulthak's massive frame tensed. The humans were a myth, a Bujiman story told to scare young warriors. A species so dangerous, so unpredictable, that the entire galaxy had agreed to quarantine their home system until they either destroyed themselves or evolved beyond their violent nature. "Assemble the Crimson Talon Squad," Grulthak ordered. We must contain this situation before it spreads. The humans must not be allowed to access precursor technology. As alarms blared across Zorax, mobilizing the fearsome mercenary fleet, Grolthak couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The old stories spoke of human tenacity, of their ability to overcome impossible odds. If even half of those tales were true, the galaxy was in for a rude awakening. Back on the horizon, blissfully unaware of the storm they'd unleashed, Sarah Chen and her crew prepared to transmit their findings back to Earth. Their excitement was tangible. They'd made a groundbreaking discovery, one that would change the course of human history. But as Sarah looked out at the stars, a shiver ran down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, that somewhere out there in the vast expanse of space, something was coming for them. The stage was set. Humanity's first step into the galactic community would not be a peaceful one. The Andromeda Galaxy held its breath, waiting to see if the legendary humans would live up to their fearsome reputation. Little did either side know, this encounter would spark a conflict that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society, challenging age-old assumptions and forcing both humans and aliens to confront their deepest fears and greatest potentials. As the Horizon's engines hummed, preparing for the long journey home, Sarah Chen made a silent promise to her crew and to humanity. Whatever came next, they would face it head-on. For in the crucible of adversity, humanity had always found its strength, and now, on the grandest stage of all, they would need every ounce of that strength to survive. The chase begins. The Horizon cruised through the inky blackness of space, its crew still buzzing with excitement from their discovery. Captain Sarah Chen sat in her quarters, poring over the data they'd collected from the alien structure. Something about it nagged at her, a feeling she couldn't shake that they'd set in motion events beyond their comprehension. A sharp knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. "Come in," she called. Lieutenant Raj Patil entered, his usually calm demeanor replaced by evident agitation. "Captain, you need to see this." Sarah followed him to the bridge, where the main view screen showed a sight that made her blood run cold. A massive fleet of ships, unlike anything they'd ever seen, was rapidly approaching their position. "How many?" Sarah asked, her voice tight. "At least 50 vessels, Captain," Raj replied. "And they're not responding to any of our hails." Sarah's mind raced. They were alone out here, millions of light years from Earth, facing an unknown alien armada. "Battle stations," she ordered. "And plot us a course out of here, maximum speed." As klaxons blared throughout the ship, Sarah addressed her crew. "I know we're all scared, but remember your training. We're the first humans to make it this far, and we're not going down without a fight." The Horizon's engines roared to life, propelling the ship away from the approaching fleet. But it quickly became apparent that the alien vessels were faster, more advanced. They began to close the gap. "Captain, we're being hailed," Raj announced. "On screen," Sarah commanded, steeling herself. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a creature that looked like a cross between an insect and a reptile. Its 4 eyes bored into Sarah as it spoke in a guttural, clicking language. Universal Translator engaged, the ship's AI announced. "Human vessel," the alien's voice boomed, now understandable. "I am Supreme Commander Grolthak of the Zor Action Mercenary Guild. You have trespassed on forbidden territory and accessed quarantine technology. Surrender immediately or face obliteration." Sarah's mind reeled. Quarantine technology. Forbidden territory. They'd had no idea. But one thing was clear. Surrender wasn't an option. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Horizon," she responded, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We were unaware of any quarantine or forbidden zones. We are an exploration vessel on a peaceful mission. We mean you no harm and request peaceful dialogue." Grolthak's eyes narrowed. "Your ignorance does not absolve you of your crime, human. The galaxy has long feared the day your kind would break free of your quarantine. Surrender now, or we will be forced to destroy you." Sarah cut the transmission, turning to her crew. "Options. Dr. Elena Volkov spoke up. "Captain, if I may, the data we collected from the alien structure, it's not just a beacon. I think it's a key of sorts to something much bigger." "Explain," Sarah urged. "The genetic markers, the complex equations, they all point to some kind of network. A galaxy-spanning network of immense power. If we could access it." Sarah nodded, understanding dawning. "It could give us an edge." "Good work, Doctor. Raj, can you use that data to interface with the alien tech?" Raj's fingers flew over his console. "I think so, Captain. But it'll take time." "Time we don't have," Sarah muttered, watching as the alien fleet drew ever closer. "Do what you can. In the meantime, evasive maneuvers. Let's see if we can't shake a few of them." The horizon banked hard, diving into a nearby asteroid field. The massive alien ships, while powerful, lacked the agility of the smaller human vessel. Several of them collided with asteroids, their shields flaring as they took damage. But it wasn't enough. The remaining ships pressed on, their weapons charging for a devastating barrage. "Shields at maximum," Sarah ordered. "Brace for impact." The first volley struck the horizon like a hammer blow. The ship shuddered, alarms blaring as systems overloaded. "Shields down to 60%. An ensign called out. "We can't take another hit like that." Sarah gritted her teeth. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and running out of options. But as she looked around at her crew, she saw not defeat, but determination. They were humanity's best, chosen for this mission because of their skills, their adaptability, their sheer stubborn refusal to give up. "Raj, how's that interface coming?" she asked. "Almost there, Captain," Raj replied, sweat beading on his brow as he worked feverishly. "I think I've cracked it, but I don't know what it'll do." Another blast rocked the ship. "Shields at 30%, the ensign cried. Sarah made her decision. "Do it, Raj. Whatever happens, it can't be worse than being blown to atoms." Raj nodded, entering the final command sequence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, the ship's systems surged with energy. Holographic displays sprang to life all around the bridge, showing star charts, wormhole trajectories, and streams of data in an alien language. "My God," Elena breathed. "We're connected to the network." Before Sarah could respond, the ship lurched violently. Outside, space itself seemed to twist and warp. "Captain," the helm officer shouted, "we're moving, but I'm not in control." Sarah watched in awe as a massive wormhole opened before them, swallowing the horizon in a blaze of light. The last thing she saw before they plunged into the unknown was the stunned faces of their Zor-Action pursuers, left behind in normal space. As the horizon hurtled through the wormhole, its crew clinging to their stations, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. They'd escaped for now. But she knew this was just the beginning. They'd stumbled onto something massive, something that had kept humanity quarantined for who knew how long. Now they were loose in a galaxy that feared them, with access to technology they barely understood. Their mission of peaceful exploration had just become a fight for survival, not just for themselves, but potentially for all of humanity. As the wormhole journey stretched on, Sarah made a silent vow. They would survive. They would learn. And they would show this galaxy that humanity was not to be feared, but to be reckoned with. Little did she know, their sudden disappearance had just sent shockwaves through the highest echelons of galactic power. The humans were loose, and nothing would ever be the same again. Revelations and alliances. The horizon burst out of the wormhole in a flash of blinding light, its crew disoriented but alive. Captain Sarah Chen blinked away the spots in her vision, taking in their new surroundings. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos of the last few minutes. "All systems operational, Captain," Raj responded, his fingers dancing over his console. "But you're not going to believe where we are." Sarah looked at the main view screen and gasped. Before them lay a massive space station, its architecture a blend of organic curves and crystalline structures. It dwarfed the horizon, easily the size of a small moon. "My God," Elena whispered. "It's beautiful." Before Sarah could respond, a soft chime indicated an incoming transmission. She nodded to Raj, who put it on screen. A holographic figure appeared, humanoid but clearly alien. Its skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, and its eyes held a depth of wisdom that made Sarah feel like a child in comparison. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the alien spoke, its voice melodious and soothing. "I am Zarathul, keeper of the Nexus. We've been expecting you." Sarah's mind reeled. "You've been expecting us?" Zarathul nodded, a gentle smile on its face. "For millennia, we've watched your species, waiting for the day you would find your way here. Please, dock your ship. There is much to discuss." Hours later, Sarah and a small team from the horizon found themselves in a vast chamber within the space station. Zarathul stood before them, projecting images of Earth's history onto the walls. "Your species is unique in the galaxy," Zarathul began. "Eons ago, when the precursors seeded life throughout the cosmos, they imbued each species with certain traits. But humans were different. The images shifted, showing scenes of human triumph and tragedy, of great kindness and terrible cruelty. The precursors gave humans the potential for rapid evolution, both physical and mental. They saw in your species the possibility to become their successors, to shepherd life in the galaxy as they once did." Sarah's mind was spinning. "But why quarantine us? Why keep us isolated?" Zarathul's expression turned somber. "Fear. As your civilization developed, many in the galactic community grew afraid. They saw your potential for violence, your rapid technological advancements, and they panicked. A decision was made to contain your species until you either destroyed yourselves or evolved beyond your baser instincts." That's monstrous," Elena said, her voice shaking with anger. "It was a mistake," Zarathul agreed. "One that my people, the Aetheri, have long opposed. We believed that humanity needed to be given a chance to find its own path. That's why we left the beacon for you to find." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. A holographic display showed a massive fleet emerging from warp space. The Zor Action Fleet, Sarah realized. "They found us." Zarathul nodded grimly. "They are not alone. Many species fear the prophecy of humanity's emergence. They will stop at nothing to contain you once more." Sarah straightened her back, determination flooding through her. "Well, they're going to find that humans don't take kindly to being caged. What can we do?" Zarathul's eyes gleamed with approval. "The Nexus is more than just a station. It's a hub for the precursor network that spans the galaxy. With it, we can send a message to Earth, warning them and providing the means to defend themselves." "But we'll need time," Raj interjected, studying the alien technology around them. "Time to understand this tech, to formulate a plan." Sarah nodded. "Then that's what we'll do." "Zarathul, can this station defend itself?" "To a degree," the alien replied. "But against a fleet of that size, not indefinitely." Sarah turned to her crew, her eyes blazing with determination. "Then we'll have to buy ourselves some time. Raj, work with the Aetheri to send that message to Earth. Elena, I need you to dive into the precursor database. Find us something we can use against that fleet." She tapped her communicator. "Horizon, this is the captain. Prepare for battle stations. We're about to show these aliens why humanity was kept in a cage." As her crew rushed to their tasks, Sarah turned back to the holographic display showing the approaching armada. She felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was it, humanity's first true test on the galactic stage. Over the next few hours, the Nexus became a hive of activity. The Horizon's crew worked alongside the Aetheri, rapidly assimilating knowledge that would have taken years to discover on their own. Raj managed to establish a quantum entanglement link with Earth, bypassing the normal limitations of light-speed communication. The message was sent. Humanity was not alone, and it needed to prepare. Alina made a breakthrough in the precursor archives, discovering schematics for a weapon that could disrupt the enemy fleet's shield harmonics. As the enemy drew near, Sarah stood on the Nexus's command deck, Zerathul by her side. The horizon hung in space before them, a tiny David against an approaching Goliath. "Your ship cannot hope to stand against that fleet," Zerathul said softly. Sarah's lips curved into a determined smile. "Maybe not, but we're not going to run. Humanity spent too long hiding in the shadows. It's time to step into the light." She opened a channel to the horizon. "All hands, this is the captain. I know we're outnumbered. I know the odds are against us. But on that station behind us is the key to humanity's future. If we fall here, we consign our entire species to extinction or eternal quarantine." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But that's not going to happen. Because we are human. We've faced impossible odds before. We've stared into the abyss and come back stronger. Today, we show the galaxy what that means." A chorus of cheers erupted over the comm channel. Sarah nodded to Zerathul, who activated the Nexus defenses. As the enemy fleet dropped out of warp, they found not a cowering prey, but a defiant predator. The horizon darted forward, its newly augmented weapons blazing. The Nexus's energy shields shimmered to life, covering a vast area of space. The battle had begun. Humanity's first stand against the galaxy had commenced, and as energy beams crisscrossed the void and explosions bloomed in silent beauty, Sarah Chen knew one thing for certain. Win or lose, the galaxy would never forget the day they underestimated humanity. The battle for Earth. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of destruction as the horizon, backed by the Nexus's formidable defenses, engaged the vast alien armada. Captain Sarah Chen's voice rang out over the comms, steady and determined. "Evasive maneuvers. Concentrate fire on their lead ships." The horizon danced through space, its newly upgraded weapons systems unleashing salvos that would have been impossible mere hours ago. Beams of energy sliced through the enemy's front lines, causing explosions that lit up the darkness. On the Nexus, Raj worked feverishly alongside the Aetheri, using the precursor technology to disrupt the enemy's communications and targeting systems. "Captain," he called out, "we've managed to scramble their fleet coordination. They're in disarray." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. It was a small victory, but they needed every advantage they could get. The enemy fleet still outnumbered them hundreds to one. Suddenly, Alina's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, I found something in the precursor archives. It's incredible." "Make it quick, Doctor," Sarah replied, watching as another wave of enemy ships advanced. The precursors left behind a network of automated defense platforms throughout the galaxy. "They're dormant now, but if we can activate them from the Nexus." Sarah's eyes widened with realization. "We could turn the tide." "Do it." As Alina and the Aetheri raced to bring the ancient defenses online, the battle intensified. The horizon took heavy fire, its shields flickering dangerously. Shields at 30% and falling. An ensign cried out. Sarah gritted her teeth. They were so close. They just needed a little more time. Suddenly, space itself seemed to warp around them. Massive structures materialized out of nowhere, the precursor defense platforms, awakening from their eons-long slumber. "By the ancients," Zerathul breathed, awe evident in their voice. "You've done it." The platforms sprang to life, unleashing a barrage of weaponry that dwarfed anything the horizon or even the Nexus could produce. Entire squadrons of enemy ships vanished in the blink of an eye. The tide of battle shifted dramatically. The once overwhelming alien fleet found itself caught between the hammer of the precursor defenses and the anvil of the horizon and Nexus. But victory was far from assured. The enemy, realizing their peril, fought with increased desperation. A group of ships broke through the defensive line, making the kamikaze run at the Nexus. Brace for impact. Sarah yelled. The horizon threw itself into the path of the oncoming ships, taking the brunt of the collision. The human vessel shuddered, alarms blaring as systems failed across the board. Hull breach on decks 3 through 7, Raj reported, his voice strained. We can't take another hit like that. Sarah's mind raced. They had the upper hand now, but at what cost? How many more lives would be lost before this battle was over? In that moment, she made a decision. Open a channel to the enemy flagship, she commanded. Grolthak's insectoid face appeared on the view screen, his compound eyes glittering with a mix of rage and fear. Supreme Commander, Sarah began, her voice level despite the chaos around her. Look around you. Is this what you wanted? How many more need to die today? Grolthak chittered angrily. You don't understand, human. Your kind cannot be allowed to. To what? Sarah interrupted. To exist. To grow. To join the galactic community. We've activated the Precursor Defense Network. We could end this fight now, destroy your entire fleet. But that's not who we are. She leaned forward, her gaze intense. Humanity doesn't want war, Grolthak. We want to explore, to learn, to coexist. Yes, we're capable of great violence, but we're also capable of great compassion. Stand down and let's talk. Let's find a way forward that doesn't end in more bloodshed. For a long moment, silence reigned. Then, slowly, Grolthak nodded. Perhaps we have been too hasty in our judgment of your species. As the ceasefire took hold, Sarah allowed herself a moment of relief. But she knew this was just the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead, proving to the galaxy that humanity deserved its place among the stars. Back on Earth, the quantum-entangled message from the horizon had sparked a flurry of activity. Governments worldwide mobilized, pooling resources, and setting aside old rivalries in the face of this new cosmic reality. Dr. Aisha Patel, the lead scientist at humanity's first off-world colony on Mars, found herself suddenly at the forefront of Earth's defense preparations. As she pored over the schematics sent by the horizon, her mind boggled at the implications. This technology, she murmured to her team, it's beyond anything we've ever dreamed of. If we can replicate even a fraction of it. Her words were cut short by a priority alert. Multiple objects, massive in size, had been detected entering the solar system at impossible speeds. For a heart-stopping moment, Aisha feared the worst, that the alien armada had somehow beaten the horizon back to Earth. But as the objects drew closer, their energy signatures became clear. They'd matched the precursor defense platforms perfectly. Humanity's triumph and galactic consequences. The return journey of the horizon to Earth was filled with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. Captain Sarah Chen and her crew, along with their new Aetheri allies, had changed the course of galactic history. As they approached the familiar blue marble of their home planet, they knew nothing would ever be the same again. Earth's orbit was now dotted with the imposing silhouettes of precursor defense platforms, a stark reminder of the new era humanity had entered. As the horizon docked at the hastily constructed orbital station, Sarah took a deep breath, preparing herself for what was to come. The debriefings seemed endless. Government officials, scientists, and military leaders from every nation on Earth clamored for information. Sarah and her crew recounted their adventures, shared the advanced technology they'd brought back, and introduced Zarathul and the other Aetheri representatives to humanity's leaders. Dr. Aisha Patel, now heading Earth's Extraterrestrial Technology Integration Division, worked tirelessly to understand and implement the precursor tech. This isn't just an advancement, she explained to a room full of wide-eyed colleagues. It's a quantum leap for our entire civilization. The medical applications alone could eliminate disease as we know it within a generation. But not everyone was thrilled with these rapid changes. Protests erupted in cities around the world, some fearing the influence of alien technology, others decrying humanity's sudden militarization of space. The Horizon's crew found themselves thrust into the spotlight, hailed as heroes by some and viewed with suspicion by others. Sarah, never comfortable with public attention, found herself becoming the face of humanity's venture into the stars. In a historic address to the United Nations, she spoke passionately about the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. "We stand at a crossroads," she said, her voice echoing through the Grand Assembly Hall. "For centuries, we've looked to the stars and wondered if we were alone. Now we know the truth, and it's more incredible than we ever imagined. But with this knowledge comes great responsibility. We have the chance to join a galactic community, to learn and grow in ways we've only dreamed of. But we must also be prepared to defend ourselves, to stand firm in the face of those who would see us contained or destroyed." As humanity grappled with its new reality, ripples spread across the galaxy. The defeat of the Zoraxian fleet and the activation of the Precursor Defense Network had sent shockwaves through galactic politics. On distant worlds, debates rage. Some called for renewed attempts to isolate or destroy humanity, fearing their potential. Others, inspired by the Aetheri, argued for opening diplomatic channels, seeing in humans a vital new ally in the cosmic balance. Grolthak, the once fierce opponent of humanity, found himself in a peculiar position. His first-hand experience with human ingenuity and compassion had transformed him into an unlikely advocate for peaceful coexistence. Addressing the Galactic Council, his words carried the weight of hard-won wisdom. "We were wrong about the humans," he chittered, his mandibles clacking for emphasis. "We saw only their capacity for violence, ignoring their equally strong capacity for kindness and growth. I have looked into their eyes, fought against them, and then stood with them. They are not to be feared, but to be welcomed." Back on Earth, progress moved at a dizzying pace. The integration of precursor technology revolutionized every aspect of human society. Clean energy became abundant, solving the climate crisis almost overnight. Medical breakthroughs extended human lifespans and cured diseases thought incurable. The first faster-than-light ships were constructed, opening up the galaxy for human exploration. But with these advancements came new challenges. Earth's nations, once divided, now grappled with the need for a unified approach to galactic diplomacy. The formation of the Earth Confederation marked a new chapter in human history, a global government tasked with representing humanity on the cosmic stage. 5 years after the Horizon's fateful mission, Sarah Chen found herself once again on the bridge of a starship. But this time, she wasn't alone. A fleet of Earth vessels, a mix of human ingenuity and precursor technology, hung in space around her. Beside her stood representatives from a dozen alien races, allies, friends, and former enemies united in a common cause. Before them loomed a massive space station, far larger than even the Nexus, the headquarters of the Galactic Council, where humanity would at last take its place among the stars. As they approached, Sarah felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to see Zerethol, the Aetheri's bioluminescent patterns glowing with pride and friendship. "Are you ready, Sarah?" the alien asked softly. Sarah nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "As ready as we'll ever be." The doors to the council chamber opened, and together, humans and aliens alike stepped forward into a new age of galactic cooperation. As they entered, Sarah couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them here. From a chance discovery on a distant planetoid to the cusp of joining a galactic civilization, humanity had faced its trials and emerged stronger. They had proven themselves not just as warriors, but as diplomats, innovators, and friends. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, seeing only their potential for destruction. But in doing so, they had missed humanity's greatest strength, the ability to unite, to adapt, and to grow beyond their limitations. As the council session began, Sarah Chen stood tall, ready to speak for Earth and all of humanity. They had earned their place among the stars, not through conquest, but through courage, compassion, and an unyielding spirit of exploration. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But one thing was clear: humanity was no longer alone, no longer confined to a single world. They had taken their first steps into a larger universe, and they were determined to make their mark, not as conquerors, but as partners in the grand tapestry of galactic life. As Sarah began her address to the Galactic Council, her words echoed not just through the chamber, but across the cosmos, heralding the dawn of a new era. We come in peace, with open minds and open hearts. We bring with us the best of what humanity has to offer: our creativity, our determination, and our unwavering hope for a better future. Today, we don't just join your community. We help to reshape it. Together, there are no challenges we cannot overcome, no frontiers we cannot explore. The stars have called to us for millennia. At last, we answer that call, not as conquerors, but as friends, allies, and fellow travelers on this grand cosmic journey. And so, humanity's greatest adventure began, not with a bang, but with a promise of peace, cooperation, and endless discovery.